So, this is something that I've sort of noticed or come to my attention just over the last few years, and I'm just wanting to share these thoughts with you and see if anybody else has seen something similar or seen the trends heading in this general direction. Now, I know that more and more people are buying horses and maybe keeping them either on DIY or on a part livery or on full livery or whatever. So, people do what they can and do the best for their horses, and that's great, that's fantastic. But what I have observed as a professional over the last few years seems to be this trend, and I don't know if it's just me being a bit old and fuddy-duddy or if anybody else has noticed it. And the trends that I'm talking about tends to be, I'm trying to think how to say this, the people who have horses and are just learning and are wanting to grow and develop and are wanting their horse to grow and develop and try really hard, and you get a lot of people like that, and they are always look for help, they get instructions, they get the lessons, and they're doing everything that they possibly can and can afford, and that's fantastic. But then you get some people and who seem to think that they don't need to learn anymore. And I think that's a bit worrying because you never stop learning, and I'm quite sure there's a lot of people out there who understand that. You're always learning something new, but there seems to be a certain trend towards image, and you wear the right clothes and your horse wears the right clothes, and there's a lot of things put on social media which isn't always the truth, because you'll only see in a moment in time. So that beautiful moment of the horse floating past the camera might have taken 3 or 4 hours of an absolute storm and an absolute horror show before you get those few seconds, but it's a few seconds that are put up. You know what, you'll understand, you'll have seen it, you'll all have experienced something similar. And it worries me that there are more and more people who just want to have the image and look the part and say, my horse gets this or my horse gets that, but what the horse is getting is not necessarily what the horse needs. And what the horse might need is somebody who understands them, somebody who understands how they think and what they need out of life and what they're wanting out of life, and somebody who makes it their mission to try and work with them, or be it on the ground or in the saddle, to the best of their ability and in the most comfortable and least stressful way for the animal. And that seems to be lacking, and I don't know if it's a drop in empathy in general from people. They're disconnected from animals and they don't have the empathy, or if it's pressure to be in with the in crowd or part of that team or have that image. So I'm not really sure where it's coming from, and I see this more and more, and I get a bit kind of concerned when people who will spend hundreds upon hundreds of pounds for the latest rug or the latest bling for their equipment or their saddle or their bridle or whatever, or the latest jacket or the latest whatever, but they won't spend money on education. They won't spend the money on learning. They won't spend the money going to trainers or teachers or instructors or attending clinics or courses or studying things. They're very quick to go on Google. Well, these people are very good on Google, and they'll Google the answers for everything, but just because it's on Google doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth or it's of value. Or they'll watch instructional videos online. Well, that's great if you understand what you're looking at. But if you don't understand the basic needs of the horse and the basic psychology of the horse, how can you understand a 3-minute video where the trainer or the instructor is demonstrating a technique on the assumption that the people watching it actually know the basics of horse requirements. And these people will not spend money on that, but will be happy to spend the money on all the gear and all the equipment, and will sit and talk the talk but don't walk the walk. And that seems to be a growing trend. Or perhaps this is just my perspective, from my point of view, what I have seen or noticed over the last, and this is over the last, say, 6-7 years, maybe a little bit more. It's getting more and more that way. And I might just be unlucky that I'm seeing more people like that. But it's very frustrating for a professional who sees an owner or a rider or a horse that desperately needs help and guidance, but you can't force knowledge into people. You have to wait till they ask for it. And these people never ask. Oh, but they're very quick to tell other beginners how to do this and how to do that. And you'll have seen this if you're at a show or a competition. You've always got the person standing telling you how to ride your horse, and they don't even know the horse, or telling you should be doing this or you should be doing that. They don't know the horse, they don't know you, they don't know your circumstances. You might be doing the best you possibly can at that moment, at that stage in your training and in the horse's training. And it's a bit worrying, and I'm just putting the feelers out there. And please, guys, feel free to put comments on in this. And I really would, I'm genuinely searching for feedback on this. I genuinely want to know, has anybody else noticed this, or does anybody else feel this, that there is a sad, or seems to be, I'll rephrase that, seems to be a sad lack in any attempt to seek knowledge? Or you reach a certain level and you say, right, that's it, I know everything, I don't need to know anymore. And do you know what? That's okay, provided that the level that you've reached is not detrimental to you, other people round about you, or the animals that you're working with. And I say this with all due respect, no matter how good you think you are, you can always be better. And being better doesn't necessarily mean being out and winning big competitions and doing this. I mean, that's fantastic. It takes a lot of training, a lot of dedication, a lot of years of experience to be able to compete at that level. You can't just walk into that and expect to do it. You can't buy that. So pure kudos to people who have achieved that. But your expectations and what you're wanting to achieve with you and your horse change as you age. And you might get to a point in life where you think, do you know what, I don't want the ribbons anymore, I don't want the trophies, I've done that, I've seen the damage it's done to my horses, I've seen the stress and the strain it's put them under and the physical damage it's done. I don't want to do that to the horse anymore. I'm happy just being with my horse and patting my horse, culling my horse, working on a one-to-one with them, just toodling about, going on a nice hike, just enjoying being with the horses. And I think those people who get to that stage where they realise they don't need to be chasing images, they don't need to be seen to be in with the in crowd. Something was said to me, this is a few years ago now, and it was said to me, and it's kind of stuck with me. I've done a lot in my life, my career. I've been a professional rider and I'm a professional trainer, but I've done a lot of different skills, from dressage to cross country, to western riding, and to a bit of endurance. I've done a bit of everything. And I've competed at a fairly high level in most of those disciplines. And somebody said to me, but I'm getting old now, so I've kind of changed the goalposts a bit. My horses that I'm working with have come to me with issues and problems, physical or mental. And to me, what's more important is if you can take a horse that's damaged mentally or physically and make them happy and content and confident and regain their joie de vivre, the love of life and wanting to be a horse again, well, that's worth more than any amount of trophies, more than any other prizes you can give. But this person said to me, we see the problem is you're not out there competing, you're not seen to be out competing anymore. And I thought, why should that be the be-all and end-all? The amount of knowledge that I've accumulated with the insight that I have gained from making the mistakes, I am more than happy and desperately wanting to share with other people to stop them making those mistakes and to try and help them progress further than I ever could, because that's what it should all be about. You should, we have a saying, poor is the pupil who does not surpass the master. I don't expect you to be at my level, I expect you to be better than me, because you've got to carry it on. And it came, I was lost for words when this person said that, I have to say, and it's not like me to be lost for words, as you probably imagine. And I thought I couldn't answer that, and I said, well, it's just not what I do anymore. I don't do that. I'm too old and too physically damaged to do that, because I've been thrown through fences, stood on, dumped, bounced about the place. We've all been there. All competition riders have more broken bones than they care to mention. And I've done that, and I don't do that. I can't do that anymore. So what I can do is share my knowledge and experience and give other people, fitter people, younger people, the opportunity to be a step ahead of where I was. I had to learn through experience. I can give you that experience and you can take that and run with it. But the tragedy of the whole thing that I'm seeing, and I'm not saying this is the case, but this is just what I'm seeing, is that people don't care. They're not interested. They don't want to put the effort into learning. They'd rather have all the fancy equipment on a horse that's really upset, stressed and under pressure, maybe physically sore, and behaving, I'm going to say the word, I hate saying behaving badly, but offering behaviour that isn't what's wanted, because they are sore, because they're upset, and they think that's okay. And it's absolutely not okay for a horse to give his all physically to a rider for the sake who doesn't care and is treating that animal, that person, that spirit, treating them just like a piece of rubbish to be thrown away. Oh, it's broken now, give me a new one. And you've all seen riders like that. They go through horses more than most people go through socks, and they don't seem to learn or want to learn. And what worries me is a lot of people young people look up to that type of rider and say, oh look, they're winning prizes, they're winning this. And it's almost like the same culture you get, I want to be famous, I'll go on TikTok and I'll do this and I'll be famous, I'm going to be, I don't even know what this is, a social media influencer. No idea what that is, but they think it's easy money, quick bucks, and they don't put the effort into the training, and it's the animals that suffer at the end of the day. I find it very frustrating, and I'm hoping this trend will change. I'm hoping that at some point, common sense will prevail and people will realise that, there is more to having a friendship or a relationship with a horse and a partnership with the horse. I mean, please don't get me wrong, there are so many really good riders out there who literally just dance with their horses. Their horses love working for them. They're not in any pain or stress, and they're not frightened, and it's teamwork, and they're in it together, and that takes such a skilled rider, and I so respect riders that can do that. I think it's fabulous to watch, and it's beautiful to watch, and there are loads of people who can do that. But this trend seems to be I'm trying to think how to say this, at riders who are not at that skill-based level. They think they are. I've had people come up to me and say, I'm a show jumper, and I go, oh really, so BSJ, fantastic, what grade are you on, what grade are you doing, what you do? Oh no, I just do nursery novice. Now, there's nothing wrong with nursery novice unaffiliated, absolutely not, and it's totally essential to give a young horse an education and to encourage riders who maybe don't have that confidence, to give them something to do and go round. But you don't go around telling people you're a show jumper. That to me is an image they've created in their mind, and they'll dress like one. They'll walk about with all the gear and look like, you know, a professional, and whatever a professional looks like. Most professionals and will walk about looking as though they've been dragged through a hay barn backwards because they're so busy working with their horses. But they go around with this image, and it's image, and it's false image, and they're on social media, and they're taking these pictures, and they're look what I'm doing, and it's living in an unreal world, and this is bled in from society in general and into a sport or into a pastime or hobby or whatever you want to call it that requires you to be living in the moment, because horses live in the moment. They live in the real world. They don't live in a made-up world, a fantasy world that might be what's getting demonstrated in social media. And it worries me no end that this seems to be the trend. This seems to be where we're going. Now, I could be completely off the mark here, and maybe I've got a completely jaded perception. So I am actively looking for feedback for anyone who listens to this podcast. And anyone who maybe either agrees or disagrees, please, if you disagree, please, I'm wanting to hear. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm not seeing the big picture. And I hope that I'm completely off the mark here. And please feel free to say if you think I am. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know where it's going to go. And I just hope, for the horse's sake, that we actually get this sorted out. Thank you for listening to me rambling on. You take care and have a good day.